episode is this? This is episode 12. Dang, how'd you know that? You checked?
I keep up with SehoPod.
Okay, let's go. Welcome, everyone. This is SehoPod episode 12. Hope y'all are doing great. I'm here with...
Sahaj, Vaghasia. It's a pleasure to be on here, Sahaj.
Dude,
Thank you
welcome,
for having
Sahaj.
me.
Sahaj was supposed to be on at one point during the summer, and he just wasn't around. But we're here. We're here in Vanderslice Hall at Boston College, where once again we've been placed not cooperatively in the same dorm hall at BC. So it's good to be back.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bro. For the people who may be watching this, would probably have some context as to Sahaj and I's relationship. But to those who don't know, I've known Sahaj since the 6th grade when I moved to Norwood, New Jersey. I moved, it was like June of 2016. And then school year started. We were starting middle school at Norwood Public School, which you had been your whole life.
Yeah.
And then I come in, and the story goes, I said it when I had the podcast episode with Cha, but I was in Miss Mazurik's 6th grade social studies class with many people, including Sahaj and Cha. And I think also the table was Kira and Feldstein.
It was.
And I happened to be sat at that table. And then Miss Mazurik, our social studies teacher, Jem, she's like, who's new this year? And I raised my hand, and I might be one of the only ones. And she's like, whoever helps him gets extra credit. And so Cha and Sahaj's heads shoot up. And so they were supposed to be my buddies. And then they were. Because in the Norwood friend group, that year I was only close with you and Cha.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. You guys were my only friends among you, Cha, Kranzler, Levy, Jess, Michaela, Venera, Kira, Ken.
Yeah.
Am I missing Eddie?
Eddie.
Yeah. So out of all those people, what else that? Out of all those people, I was only close with Sahaj and Cha for that first year. And I guess we were just in a lot of classes together.
Yeah, I think we had a very similar schedule, especially the tag program. So we were involved in a lot of stuff.
Well, I wasn't in
outside.
that. I wasn't in that till 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I guess we were just
A lot of classes.
placed
Well,
in a
did
lot of
you
the same...
did you also get moved to the 7th grade advanced math class?
Yeah, I
during
did.
that year?
So I think that was
Yeah,
one of our
yeah.
mutual.
It was you, me, and like Brianna that got moved at the same time, or something like that.
Yeah, it was very few. I think it was just us three.
Yeah. And then there were other people who had already been in it.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew Sahaj. And I don't know if I like hung out with you outside that year. I'm remembering more
Yeah,
7th grade when like we would also like hang out as a group, but
It's just like 2018 now, 2017.
well, this is 2017.
2017.
Yeah, 2017. No, I think we just had a lot of classes together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it
I
was.
think that's what it.
Yeah, and then 7th grade. Again, this is just what I said with Cha and Kranz when I had them on, and Eddie. But Ken's Halloween party is what did it.
Yeah.
When you guys were all invited to Ken's Halloween party, and it was that group.
Yeah.
But I was not in that group yet. And then Cha was like, "Dude, you should come." Like Cha was like really. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to overstep my boundaries." He's like, "No." So he makes me walk up with him to Ken during recess one time, and he asked, "I was like, oh yeah, for sure." And then that night, I felt I was fully.
Yeah, I didn't know that part of the story. I just assumed that you were our friends.
Yeah.
So you just showed up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But at that point, I had not hung out with that group as like a group before. I knew
that was your first time?
Yeah, I knew everyone at that point.
Yeah.
Like I met Kranzler towards the end of 6th grade, and then like the rest of them I was like somewhat like familiar with.
Yeah.
But that was the official first group hangout.
No, I didn't know that.
So since then we were the Norwood gang. What was it? The squad.
The squad.
The squad.
It was
which
squad.
Which we got made fun of for because at the lunch tables it was like the football players, some other kids, it was like very like cliquey, the lunch tables.
Cliquey.
And then we were the squad.
And everyone referred to us as the squad too.
Yeah.
Like, you said at that table.
So we were the squad in middle school, and that was a good time. And then some key highlights from middle school were our lip balm.
Bomb for the lip.
we made lip balm for what was the project called, or like the fair called?
Oh God, it was Treps.
Treff's Marketplace.
Entrepreneurship. It was
Treff's
Marketplace.
Marketplace. It was where everyone, and it was really cool. It was where everyone, there was a fair, and like everyone got to be an entrepreneur and make something or resell something. And so we made like, I think we made like something over like 200 in revenue.
We each, I think, had like a $80.
Yeah, I was gonna say $80 profit.
I think we each had an $80 profit.
Remember that? Yeah, that was huge. That was huge back in the day.
So
and that was good. And then the rest was with the group mostly.
Yeah, there's
like,
a lot of memories with that group.
I mean, we did everything together. We went to the football games together, the Raiders games. We went to the diner, Six Flags. That was huge. That was also Ken.
That was Ken.
Yeah, that was Ken.
Ken was a crucial aspect to our
he was
coming together.
What else did we do?
We had, I know you said diner, but
diner.
That was bike rides. I know you, me,
bike
and AP
rides,
took a lot of bike rides.
That's true. Bike rides. I mean, bar mitzvahs, we would hang out together as a group.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember specifically when people were introduced to the term squad, it was because Jesse's. Because for one of her candles, she like said the squad.
Oh.
So that's how people knew we were called the squad. Yeah. And people would like poke fun at that.
Forgot about that.
No, we were so cool though. And then we went to high school. Group kind of, and some people went to different schools, but definitely us guys stuck close.
Yeah.
And now we're at BC. Now at Boston College. Any highlights from high school?
High school highlights. I know football games. Those are always a highlight.
That's true. Sahaj disappeared during COVID. That's a true story. Other than that, it was.
I swear we had fun in high school. I know. I know it doesn't look like we had highlights, but I swear
there were a lot of things that happened.
I don't know why I can't remember all of high school right now.
High school was great.
High school was awesome. Yeah.
We both had a good time. Specifically towards college application process in senior year, we both got rejected from our ED. And then I remember you saying BC, if it wasn't for that and like you feeling kind of like almost like an expectation to apply to your ED school, you would have applied ED to BC.
Yeah.
Is that true?
So April of my junior year, I started touring colleges and toured a bunch of schools in the Northeast, some of the Ivies, some of BC, Northeastern BU, all those schools. Tufts was on that list. And immediately I was taking notes of what I liked about each school. So when I go back, I know what I want to apply to and, just points for my essays and whatnot. And I remember BC was ranked above all the other schools. It was ranked against, I saw schools like Yale, UPenn, ranked higher than all of them. And I can't pinpoint what it was. It was just the vibe I got from this school in terms of the people, the tour guides, friends, upperclassmen that I had here. This was my first, I wanted to come here. So I felt pressure to ED to UPenn. I felt pressure to ED to an Ivy. That didn't work out, so I'm glad I ended up again here. So
yeah. So you applied regular here, among other schools. I didn't know if you had to choose between like two at the end of schools, you got accepted to. I know Carnegie Mellon was the other one. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
and then how easy was the choice there?
So in the end, it came down to the Tepper School of Business at Carnegie Mellon. It was between that and the Carroll School of Management here at BC. In terms of just the people, Boston College took it away. The vibes and the interactions I had with people here, I felt were more genuine. People were happier here. I was able to relate to more people here. A lot of the kids here are also varsity athletes. So I felt it was a good mix of people being very, in-depth with their studies, as well as also outside of class. I felt like I could also relate to the kids a lot more. And also, I know I love Boston. Boston, I'd rather be in Boston over Pittsburgh, just as a city, and I have more friends going here. So and at the end of the day, I think I knew what I wanted. I had to reconvince myself, but I think I always wanted BC.
Sure.
So I'm glad I ended up here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was in a similar position where, my AD school, I played at Cornell. That was not like a dream school of mine. Like I was not, when I got rejected, it was like, it was more as if I convinced myself that I would just get in.
Yeah.
But I didn't particularly have a strong desire to go there. And then among regular decision schools, BC was also pretty much top of my list. just from same thing, what I've heard from other people, people who know people who go there, like the vibe of the school. And I'd never been. But among the schools I got into is that or a couple of liberal arts colleges, including Wesleyan, which is also a great academics, great school. But I think there, like the choice is obvious in terms of the rest of school size, school spirit, just everything else that's going on in the community.
Yeah.
Very vibrant community here, and that's what I was going for.
Yeah.
And so, you went to orientation session 2.
Session 4.
Session 4. It was
right
either
after
it was
Lee's grad party.
Yes.
After I left.
It was either because I went to 3, so I knew it was either before mine or right after mine.
Yeah.
I went to 3, and that was my first time here.
I remember you telling me that.
And I loved
you've
it.
never seen it.
Yeah.
You know,
and I had an awesome time. And so, since then, how's the BC journey been?
The BC journey, I'm so happy here.
Yeah.
The people I've met, the opportunities I've been able to come across, just no complaints at all, no regrets, no complaints.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Yeah, I agree, totally.
And I say this to you every time, but I said we lived on the same floor last year.
Yeah.
And now you live right above me this year in the same building, so it's crazy that we still go to the same school after all these years.
Yeah.
So it's always fun seeing you around on campus.
Yeah. I'm going to see I mean, like me, Joe, Ali, Ine, like hang out, you know.
Yeah.
Along with her friends Mark and Ashley, and like that's super cool, you know. Like,
yeah.
It's so cool to still be around the same people, and just like be here together. Because even if, you know, like even if we have other close friends here, there's like the bond we have that has just been always there.
Exactly.
So, it's awesome.
Yeah.
This leads me to my big question of the day. And we can kind of riff off this and you can ask me questions as well. But I got to put some context. Well, this is just from my own observation of you as a friend. And I don't think I've ever like said this out loud. So I'm really curious to what you think and say. You're thriving at BC. I can see that. And it's really awesome to witness and see. And especially the community and friends you found here, I really feel like you found a place and belonging and like really identify with certain people here, and like your social life is like as full as it's ever been. I also realize, or I've noticed, or I did notice, at home, I mean, I think you're the same guy, same, full of life, full of energy, like man of the people, love to have friends, be with friends.
Yeah.
But I notice here there's more of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and obviously I know I could kind of think of some of the answers, but when we were at home, it was a lot of like you hang out with us. I mean, you had your soccer team, like kids you played sports with, and a couple close friends. But like really here, I feel like there's been like just this like boom.
Yeah.
What changed, either in you or the environment, and how has that transition been? Has it been something you've been aware of, something you've noticed, something that's been just like kind of like you haven't even thought about it, that's just the way things have happened?
Yeah, that was a loaded question. To be honest, I haven't thought of that at all. So you bringing that out and pointing that out is, I think, the first time I'm thinking of that. Right off the bat, again, thank you for everything you said. I think what college has done for me is just first allowed me to become more independent. And in becoming more independent, I've been able to branch back out and become more confident with myself and the people I want to surround around me. I felt in high school, not that I wasn't confident, but I just felt there was always, people you click with, people you don't click with, and I tried to be likable to a lot of people, but I feel in doing so, I wasn't able to be the best version of myself. And I feel in college, that's what switched. And when I was able to, figure out what I want in life in different aspects, from relationships to careers to just figuring out what I want for me and who I am as a person. From that came all these great opportunities to meet other people. So I still have a lot of friend groups here. So I have like my sports friend group, my career friend group, my just going out friend group, classmates. So just I think it's been more exemplified here because I've been able to develop further as a person. If that makes sense.
Yeah. How and when did you, like, what was the process of coming here and figuring out what you wanted and who you, like, you just said what did you say? Just like knowing what you want, or like finding yourself, or like
Yeah.
what matters to you. Like, what
Yeah.
was that process? Like,
I came with the intention that Boston College is not a cheap place. It's a very expensive school, so it's a privilege to be here. It's a privilege to meet everyone I'm meeting. Privilege to be part of the clubs I'm able to apply to. So it came from a place of gratitude, and we've talked about this before about my gratitude journal, which we can get into in a second. But I think it came from there and just realizing this opportunity I have. So first semester freshman year, if you look at my calendar, it's so overwhelming to look at it now. But I applied to everything and anything, just stuck in my application, just try to meet as many people as possible. And then second semester, whatever I liked is what stuck. So I just put myself out everywhere. And I think that really allowed me to figure out what I wanted and didn't want. And from there, I think it all stemmed. So again, that started because I wanted to make the most out of my education, make the most out of being here. And then from there, um, I was able to branch out more, try new things, join clubs that I never even thought I would be a part of in high school, and I think that's where it all started.
so to sum up your answer, you're saying that the change was like kind of an eagerness to jump into a new environment, and like also I think you implied it, but also like the size shift, like you saying like knew the people at high school, you knew if you clicked with them or didn't, and that was that. But here there's more exploration to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. In high school, I felt going into high school already, groups were already very well established.
Sure.
And I think it was difficult to break into a new group or break out of an old group in high school. It was very cliquey going into it.
Yeah.
Because of the area we were raised in. It was a regional high school, obviously, so people knew each other going in. So I think it was difficult to, become like I think it was difficult to explore and become like a new person in high school.
Yeah.
And I think that transition was much easier into college.
Sure. So how specifically then are you a new person today?
That's a good question. um, I just think I'm more satisfied with what I have in life.
Mm.
I've become closer to God in a new way, and I've become more grateful for everything I have and all the opportunities I have and the people that I have in my life. So I think it came from there, and from there I was able to really establish. To be honest, I think from there I was able to establish, again what I wanted and who I wanted to become. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Who do you want to become?
Right now, I want to go down investment banking. So recruiting season's coming up, and the more I think about that, in the end, it's just honestly happiness. I see myself in 20 years having a wife, kids, a family, and that's the more I think about it, and the more I think about my recruiting, and the more I think about my pre-professional clubs, it all ends with the same end goal, and that's that. So
you had a cool opportunity to work this past summer, do an internship remotely, but do investment banking. Did that make you happy?
it did. I know a lot of people hear investment banking and think that's a lot of hours, a lot of work, but it did make me very happy. It was a great experience. I was very fortunate to have been able to intern there. It's a firm based in New York City, and it's very difficult to get an investment banking internship freshman year. So I feel by having that, I was able to figure out if this is really what I wanted to pursue in my career. And I love the work I did. So, and because it is what I want to pursue, I think that takes a big weight off my shoulders, where I feel a lot of people going into recruiting are, second guessing themselves and thinking if this is really what they want to do. So I think just knowing that this is what I want to do and knowing that this is the next part of my journey is very reassuring for me.
Why finance? You're studying finance. You're going down IB, PE, that route. Why finance?
When I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor. And then as I began to take classes in high school, and then just seeing what people around me are doing, family, friends, etc., I realized that medicine is not for me. I do not want to study for those many years. I'm not interested in, biology, chemistry. Those aren't my strong suits. And then I think for me, finance always really drew me in because of the macroeconomic view that finance kind of brings to it. And I like studying how different decisions and corporations affect different economies and ourselves. And I think being a part of that and being a part of that greater system and having the chance to invest into that cycle, be a part of that cycle, is really enticing for me.
Yeah. You talked about your gratitude journal. Get into that. How did that start? Why did you start that, and how has that been?
Yeah. This is something I've wanted to do for a while, but it's something I've been putting off just because I've been so lazy with it. So I started typing it. So it's not a handwritten journal. It's an ongoing Google Doc on my computer that's just saved onto my computer. This started this summer, really the last 2 weeks of August. The first week of August, I got back from California. And then I remember just this summer was a big summer for me for many different reasons. A lot of stuff went on in different aspects of my life. And I was just really happy and grateful for where I was in life. And I remember sitting in New Jersey thinking like, this was like a hell of a summer. I have a huge year to go into. So that's when I think it clicked that I wanted to do this. And then that second week back was like it's like the anniversary of my temple opening. It was like the 11th year anniversary of my temple opening. So, I was helping out there, volunteering the whole week. And one of the saints said something. It was like in like a speech he was giving to all the members and whatnot. And he said that if you wrote a gratitude journal every night before you went to bed and just put 2 to 3 things you were grateful for, I guarantee your life will the satisfaction and happiness in your life will increase a lot. And that was really the last point for me. I knew I wanted to do it, so I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I went home that night, started it on paper in a journal, and I was like, I can't do it. I also have hyperhidrosis, so my hands were super sweaty.
Oh,
so
whoa!
Yeah, I can't
that.
if you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Dang.
very sweaty. But I was like,
hyperhidrosis.
yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna start typing this. So I started typing it, and now every night before I go to bed, without fail, I spend 5 to 10 minutes kind of just recapping my day and giving different aspects of my life that I'm grateful for and things in the future that I'm looking forward to. So I feel that has done a couple things for me. First, it's given me things in my day-to-day activities to be grateful for. So I kind of have that mindset and the lens to look at life to find things I'm grateful for, which I can then write later that evening. And second, it just puts everything into perspective. So even if something in my life doesn't go that way, if it doesn't go my way, for example, if I have a bad test grade, if this happened with this club, if this happened with this company, I didn't get the internship, whatever, whatnot, I just began to look at it from the perspective that I'm grateful to be able to pursue an education in which I am able to have a bad test grade. So just by rewiring how I think and how I go about looking at, disappointments and road bumps in my life.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. There's 3 things or 3 aspects of that I really highly encourage and also practice.
Mm-hmm.
One being gratitude itself.
Yeah.
Like that just immediately, as that saint said, immediately changes your perspective on life, because there's always something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
I think like there's just such an abundance of gratitude, and obviously I'm saying that, and we can say that from a place of privilege where maybe we're not dealing with such harsh difficulties as other people may be facing, but in all walks of life, I think gratitude is super important to shift your perspective and just like know what you have, and then like acknowledge it and be like, this is like not mine. I mean, like we believe in God, so like this, God, this is yours. Like thank you for this, you know. And then number 2 is journaling itself. And people say like journal to look back on it, but I don't really look back on my journal entries. I think what's more powerful is just writing it down, and because you have to think through it. It's different. Like yes, like something like prayer and meditation is super important in reflection, but actually having to write that down, it's also because like even if you write in like bullet points or not full sentences, like you have to make it somewhat cohesive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So just having to think through that and then writing it down. Like I journal every day too, and that's super helpful. And also the last part, the third aspect, is consistency. Like doing it once, yeah, it's great, but then if you do a certain meditative or spiritual exercise or practice, like every single day, consistency is super important, because then the value is already there. But while you're doing it every day, the more and more the value becomes apparent, and the more and more it like changes your life in like a non-cheesy way, hopefully. So like in my faith practice, my devotional life, that looks like many things, but like the consistency is getting up early in the morning. And at this point, I'm spending like an hour and a half just to read my Bible, pray. And at first it was more difficult because I didn't want to do it. The desire was not that great. But for me, like at least in my faith journey, it was me first realizing how important God is to my life. And so me building that actually like in my schedule and making it a practice, and like I'm just gonna stick to it. And then the more I did it, the more the desire became, like the more the desire grew. And so now I do it because I genuinely, obviously it's still in my schedule, still in my calendar, but now like because I've done it so much, like again, the value has just become so apparent, and now I just like when I wake up, that's what I want to do. Which is really cool to see.
So when did you start journaling, or was it something you've been doing for a while?
Funny you say that. I just brought back from home this like tiny journal I had from like 2016.
Wow.
Like right before I moved to Norwood. I just found it in my room, so I brought it back. Hey, what's up, Jonas? Jonas, you want to come say hi?
Sure, I'll come say hi.
Get over here, Jonas.
Are you going to the gym right now?
Yeah, I'm going to the gym.
Dang, bro, late gym.
Yeah, late gym. I still gotta write a journal entry when I get back.
Oh, ho.
Hi, podcast.
Is your face shown?
Your face is not even in it. Get down, Jonas. Get lower.
There you go.
It's going good?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It's going well.
I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, bro.
See you
Have a
next
good
time.
workout.
Likes,
Yeah,
good
dude, it's
lift.
nice, right?
Legit.
Jonas Weinman's going to be next.
Yes.
Yeah, bro.
I've been waiting for my opportunity.
Dude, I brought back bagels from Jersey. Just a few, but you can have some. Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too, man.
I love the podcast.
Thank
See
you,
you, Jonas.
Reading the Bible and praying has always been a practice, but for most of my life, like up until honestly since I got to college, it was more my parents telling me to do it. Because my parents are very devout followers of Christ, and so it was more like kind of mandated, and so I did it. And obviously sometimes I realized value, but most of the time it was just doing it to do it. Journaling specifically, my mom always encouraged it, and I knew the value of it, but never really got super into it. So like I've had stints like that when I was like 10, journaling. But consistently every day has been since like the beginning of this year, around like springtime-ish. So I'm still relatively new to it too. But since then, I've done it like almost every day. And for me, journaling looks like a lot of things. So when I read my Bible, it's me taking notes and writing my thoughts down. And then sometimes when I pray, I will either like write the prayer down completely, or I will like kind of think about what I want to pray about and write like little bullet points to like keep myself in check. And then also just like my thoughts. And then sometimes I'll have days where like I just have a lot to get down, so I'll just like spend like a couple minutes just like
yeah.
writing stuff down.
You mentioned that when you were younger, it was your parents telling you, and now you found it for yourself.
Yeah.
That's exactly, I think, what happened with me too. Grew up
With what?
Religion.
Yeah.
Grew up in a religious household. Grandparents are all religious, and it's just always been what we've done, and it's always been what you've been told. And then college is really the first place where you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And then for me, I did it, but it wasn't the same level of devoutness I was giving it back home, just because no one was watching, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, you go through life in college, and then you realize that like that is an aspect of my life that I enjoyed, and an aspect of my life that I want to bring back for myself. So I think bringing that back for myself was more worthwhile, because now I appreciate what I had at home that I never got a chance to, just because it was always there. So now I don't take it for granted. And I think that's what I meant when I said earlier that my relationship with God, I feel, has grown in college.
Yeah, dude, totally.
So I think we're both the same in
Yeah.
that same regard.
Yeah, when I totally agree. When I came to college, like, I was thinking a lot just about like what I wanted college to look like and like these next few years to look like. And I definitely made a conscious decision that faith is something that's very important to me and something that I have to pursue on my own now, and that like this is kind of like it's like you said, independent.
Yeah.
And I had to make that decision before coming here to really like invest in my faith. And practical ways were to like sacrifice certain aspects of my life, but also join community here, like be involved in a church here, and just be surrounded by that. And like just from that initial seedling, like really my faith has sprouted in a lot of awesome ways. So it's cool to see that with you. It's cool to see that with myself. And like that's what college is about. Like these are very formative years, and obviously BC preaches that every day.
Yeah.
Like how important formation is. But yeah, faith is super important. It's, I mean, for me, of utmost important at this point. Because without faith, what are we doing here?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
I want to ask you, I think I want to ask you about faith. That's usually how I end these episodes, and we're at a perfect place right now.
Yeah, I think I've known you since obviously 6th grade, as we mentioned before, but I think this is the first time in our friendship that we are talking about faith, like in the level that we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's some parts that we haven't really talked about in a bigger group of the squad.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to get to know this side of you now too, and as we continue to mature and as we continue to develop in college, I think it's been really rewarding getting to know this side of you.
What you came to me with questions about the Bible because you're taking a class where you have to read the Bible, and you had already responded, but I want to hear again. Like what is captivating about the Bible to you?
Yeah, I'm taking this class called Perspectives. It's a full year class that knocks out the philosophy and theology requirements. It's just some context for some viewers that might not be familiar. And I didn't know anything about Christianity really, besides what my friends have told me and what I've just read and seen online. And as we enter our 3rd week of school, I've already finished all of Genesis, all of Exodus. So it's been really rewarding for me because Hinduism preaches we are polytheistic. So not that I don't believe in Jesus, we believe that he's just another manifestation of God. So even though he's not the God I worship, he is a God I still believe in. And that goes for any other God. So, Judaism, Islam, whatever. So I think I think reading these stories, I see a lot of parallels in the scriptures that I read for Hinduism, and how my God has laid out rules and stuff for us to follow. I think it's very similar with Christianity, and it's just awesome to see how, even though they are technically separate religions, they all do have the same fundamental beliefs.
Yeah, that's why there's all the courses, the Hinduism and Christianity and
Exactly.
dialogue,
There's so
Islam
many
and Christianity and
parallels
dialogue.
between all the
Yeah,
religions.
there are a lot of parallels for
So it's
sure.
just, again, it's this is the first class that I've had where I enjoy reading. Every other class has just been to, fulfill the quota and just have a discussion the next day.
Yeah.
But this is a class that I genuinely enjoy reading, and it's just reaffirmed my faith more in God. So I think it's been really, really rewarding just the first 3 weeks. We
Yeah,
have a whole
that's
year
awesome.
left.
Yeah, dude. I think faith is always a journey, like at least on this earth there is no end to what we believe and how we grow in faith. And so that's really awesome to see you also grow in that and discover like what faith means to you, what the truth is. And just I encourage you to continue to explore that as I am doing myself. And I'm here for you as I know that you are here for me.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for me? Any other comments?
No, just, again, grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We'll have to do this again sometime and see how we've developed more.
Yeah. That's what everyone says, to shoot another one like a year later and see what has changed and reflect on this one too. And I've said this before, but just kind of like before we close, getting into like why I do this. You said like this was the first time we talked about faith, but this is also like the probably the longest and deepest conversation we've had one-on-one since knowing each other. And I think that's awesome, and I love that this creates opportunity and environment for us to get to do that. And so I say this is just very selfish, like I'm not trying to make this famous, or like, I mean, hopefully someone can watch this and be encouraged or inspired in some way, but really just between you and I, like sitting here and talking, like this is like so awesome just to be able to talk to you about these things and like gain insight and understanding about you that I might otherwise not have been able to get to know. Obviously I could just sit down with you and ask these questions, but this creates more of like a kind of an official environment to do that, and gives us more kind of a structure.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me last year that you wanted to create a podcast to get to talk to, your friends and get to know them on a different level.
Yeah.
So, I'm proud of you for,
Thank you, man.
carrying through with that.
Yeah.
Seeing the episodes, you're doing a lot of good work. So keep it up.
Appreciate it.
A lot of good stuff.
Thank you, bro. That's the end to our conversation. And at the end of every episode, I like to pray for my guest. So may I pray for you, Sahaj?
Yes, you may.
All right, let us pray. Dear God, what a friend I have in Sahaj. I just thank you so much for the now 8 years we've been friends. God, what a journey it's been, and that through all the fun memories and experiences we've had together now, that we get to be here at BC together, the fact that you put us in the same floor, in the same dorm last year, and here we are again in the same building. God, that's just a testament to, your faithfulness in the way you work in our friendship and in friendships and relationships in general. And God, I'm just so grateful. God, I just started off by saying that Sahaj is thriving here, and it fills me with joy as a friend to see that. And I just pray that in all his busyness and all the friendships and relationships he manages, God, that really that Sahaj would find peace and kind of a calm in a storm, that through all this that he would really find meaning and purpose in what he does, find passion, and as he says, his long-term goal, find joy in what he does to support those around him and to really just be a vessel for love as he already is. And I pray that as we talked about now, continuing to explore meaning and identity, and most importantly faith, that we would continue to be on that journey and hold steadfast to it through exercises like reading scripture, through prayer, through journaling, through practicing gratitude, God, that these things would be practices and exercises we may do consistently, as that through consistency we would really realize the value and be able to grow as people in that and grow in our hearts So God, I really am just so grateful for Sahaj as a friend, and we have another great year ahead of us. This is just the very beginning of our sophomore year. So God, may you continue to be with us, and may we continue to trust in you that you have a plan, and that we just keep doing our best, continue to do what we can to enjoy the life that you have blessed us with, and that you will continue to be good to us. Thank you, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Sahaj.
Thank you for having me, Seho.
This has been a very pleasant time.
Very pleasant.
That's been episode 12. Episode 13 coming out very soon. And we'll catch you next time.